1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay guys, let's have a look at forest drums. Now this is a really nice little piece that starts in position D minor. Okay, so both hands, your fifth finger and your first finger in left hand and first finger in right hand should be on D when you start. So it's one step up from C, using all the white notes, okay? Now, looking ahead in this piece, it's actually quite easy to play, all right? There's one thing to watch out for in the left hand. So the left hand does change position once, right? But we are exploring the concept of the fifth here, all right? And if you're not sure what a fifth is, it's two notes that it's the distance of a fifth apart, meaning 5 notes in between, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course you have to count the notes that you're playing, okay? So looking at it, if we're in a standard 5-finger position, a fifth is always played with our first finger and our fifth finger, okay? Now, in this piece, if you look ahead, there are loads of fifths, usually a fifth of a D and A in the left hand and the right hand. And only in 2 places are you going to have to move your left hand, and that is in measure 13 and 14, where you're playing our fifths here in the left hand. And then you have to move it down 1 tone to play a fifth on C. And then you have to move it back in measure 15 back to D, where we pass the fifths between the hands. All right, and in measure 17 we do the same thing. Here's 17. Now you're going to shift down, play the fifth on C, shift back up, and play your fifth on D. There's our scale going down, and that is the opening material again, okay? Now, once you've mastered that, looking at the left hand, there's only one other thing to look at, okay? And that is the last 2 measures. Now, on the last 2 measures, you'll notice that we have the fifth on D again, but underneath it, it says 8VA. And that means to play it an octave away. And when you see 8VA in the left hand, it usually means play an octave lower. So here we go. Instead of playing up here on the 3rd line of the bass clef there's the 3rd line, we're going to play it down an octave, okay, on the D below the bass clef. All right. Now, let's have a look at the right hand. Right hand starting on 3, this is measure 5, okay, on your 3rd finger. If you're in a D position again, 3rd finger is on F, all right? So looking at it, you'll notice that you usually start on an F or on your 5th finger, the A, and it's mostly going by stepwise motion. Okay, and don't forget to rest here. Count to 4. And here, in measure 10, we are now skipping down spaces. All right, so this is space, the 2nd space, which is A, the 1st space, which is an F, and then this is the space below the treble clef staff, which is a D. Going back to the 1st space, which is an F, and then we're stepping to the 2nd line there, which is G, skipping down 1 line, and then a step. Okay, so you might want to rehearse that line again. That is from measure bar number 9, the third line or the last line of the first page, okay? It sounds like this. Okay? Try and play that a few times until you can get the steps and the skips correct there. Now, notice that when the right hand plays again the melody in measure 21, it's exactly the same as what we just played. So if you can play the first page, you can also play the second page. All right? The only other thing to watch out for are our dynamics. Okay? So please keep an eye on the dynamics. Here we have piano at the beginning, and then it says growing louder on the third measure. On the second line, measure 5, it says mezzo forte, where we stay until the second page. And then when we're passing those fifths, we play forte again, okay? And at the very end, in measure 21, which is the third line of the second page, it goes back down to mezzo forte. But that should just be played like the first time you play the melody, okay? And then at the very end, the last fifths in the left hand, we're fading away. Every time you play the fifths, try to play them softer. Okay, so just as a demonstration, here we go. This is four strums one more time with dynamics, and I'll talk you through it. Starting on our fifths of a D. Start soft. Rest. Count your rests. 1, 2. Now we're going to get louder. 1, 2. Get louder. 1, 2. Now mezzo forte, which is comfortably loud, but not as loud as you can play. Okay, now here's the tricky passage. Skipping by thirds. A step here, skipping by thirds. And ending with a step. Here we're playing loud, top of the second page. And then you're going to shift while you're counting. Shift and count. We're trading fifths. And shift down to C. Shift back up to D. And then hold that fifth while you play the scale. And mezzo forte again. And this is the beginning again. Try to make the staccatos and the difference between the staccatos and the slurs. Here's our hard phrase. And here's where the four strums are fading away into this distance here. And every time, softer. Last time, down an octave. And count to 8 this time, or 2 sets of 4. All right, so that's the idea. Good luck with this, preparing this at home, and hope you enjoy the piece, and we'll see you in the next video. That's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please consider clicking on that like button and subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.